Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to add animation to your form, okay, using Tailwind CSS and some CSS animations. Okay, so let's get started. So in the previous tutorial, I showed you how to add a background and also how to create this form. Okay, so now let's add some animation to it. So I've already made the keyframes for the animations for fade in and slide in left and slide in right are basically the same with a opacity and transform with translate. Okay, translate is basically shifting it from left and right. This is the initial position. This is shifting it to the left because it has a negative. And because it has a positive, it's shifting it to the right. And you have to add percent. Okay, so that's left and right, and then we have the last one, which is pop in. The difference between this one and this one is that we usually use from and to. It's basically like saying 0% and 100%. Okay, this is if you want to control the animation more. So from 0 to 80, I want it to be this, and on 80, I want it to be a little bigger, and then on 100 I want it to be the original size. Okay, so 1 is the original size, 0 is shrinking it to nothing, and 1.1 makes it a little bigger than normal, and then we're making it back to normal. So that's how this animation is working. So we're gonna add all of these animations into our form. Okay, so the thing about this is that you need to add in the initial animation. Okay, so for example, let's say I wanted to add in fade in, right? To add the fade in animation, what you need to do is provide what it would initially be. So right now it is visible, but when the animation starts, the login should be invisible, as in the opacity should be 0 to make it invisible. Opacity is gonna be 0. Okay, and now you can see it's gone, but it is still technically there, you just can't see it. And now to add the animation. Okay, so to add in animations using Tailwind CSS, you write animate dash, and then in square brackets you just type in a few things. Okay, and you divide them using underscores. Okay, so for example, the animation I want to use here is called fade in. Okay, and just to explain how you make these animations, it's very simple. You just use keyframes, then whatever name you want to give it, you name that. From and to is 0 to 100%. You type in the CSS properties like opacity, for example, here. So initially it should be 0, so that is why I made it 0. So I'm going to use a fade in animation, so I'm going to do fade in, name of the animation underscore 1s. Okay, the reason for 1s is to tell it in seconds I want it to animate. Okay, so in 1 second this animation should complete, then underscore, and then you can use different things like you have ease, you also have ease in, you also have ease in out, and you also have ease out. You can kind of experiment with these, but each of them kind of makes the animation faster and slower at certain points of it. So that's why you use these. Okay, I'm gonna stick with ease in. Okay, and then you do underscore, and then you can do forwards. So what does forwards do? Okay, so I kind of want to show you this first. I'll refresh this. You'll see that the animation happened, but it disappeared again. So what happens is the animation starts from opacity 0 because there is an initial value here. Okay, then it's animating that from 0 to 1. Okay, and what happens is goes back to the initial value, which is opacity 0, when the animation completes. So if I add forwards, what that does is whatever the last part of the animation was, which is opacity 1, okay, it's going to stop there and it's going to apply that instead of going back to the initial value. Okay, so that's why you need forwards. Then you do underscore, and then you can add in a delay. Okay, I'm gonna do 5s. Just this is for example purposes, otherwise this would be too long. So 5s for now. So I'm gonna refresh this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, it animated this in 5 seconds. So I'm gonna make this a 1 second. Okay, And I'm just going to repeat this for everywhere, wherever I want to add a fade in. Okay, so the initial value for this is also 0 because this is going to slide in, but it's also going to fade in. So the opacity will be 0, as you can see, and it's basically the same. This will also have a opacity of 0. This will have a scale of 0. Okay, so that's how this is going to work. So I'm just going to copy paste this. So here is the email input one, and I'm going to change this to slide in from the left. It's the same for the password. Okay, for the button, it is not going to be opacity 0, it's going to scale 0. Okay, and it's going to be hop in. Okay, and these two, this is going to be slide in left, but this one is going to be slide in right. Okay, and this is going to be fade in. Scale is going to be 0, and all of these pop in. Save this. The buttons didn't work. Also, we're going to add st0. Okay, so let's see now. Let's refresh this. Okay, I like that. Okay, that's working. So let's just copy this and replace scale 0 with opacity 0. Okay, so as you can see, we are now able to animate this. Okay, but I'm going to change the delay so that we can make this animation even better. Okay, so I'm going to quickly do that and just show you what I did. Okay, okay, so I am back. I've just changed the delay, nothing else, for all of these. Okay, and also for the card, I just added a pop in. Okay, just like we added it before. So let's see the animation. I've intentionally made it 5 seconds. In the next video, I'll tell you why. And as you can see, we have a beautiful animation for our login form. Okay, so in the next video, I'll be showing you how to add a background video to make this look even better before the animation happens. And that is why we have added a 5-second delay for the card, because after 5 seconds, the card pops in and all of the animation begins. So let me just show you. This is what I added for the card. Okay, it's a 5-second delay, and this is 7. You can mess around with these however you want, it doesn't matter, and it will just animate all of that. Okay, so I hope you like this tutorial. Like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.